I'm really grateful for this beautiful autumn weather today. First off, before we do get started, I'd like to start by thanking Marilyn Tien, member of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, who's going to offer our heartfelt land acknowledgement. So, Marilyn? Oh, yes, sure. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Niagara Falls is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of First Nations, such as Adirondack and Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of Great First Nation. There are so many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples from across Turtle Island that live and work in the Niagara region today. The city of Niagara Falls stands with all the Indigenous peoples, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the land on which we live. As I go about my day, I am reminded of the importance of acknowledging those who came before us and the sacrifices they made to pave the way for our success. It is important to remember that we are all part of a larger community and that we have a responsibility to care for and support one another. In light of today's event that acknowledges the generations of harm done to First Nations, Métis, and Inuit children while attending Indian residential schools, it is especially important to take a moment to reflect on the experiences of those who have suffered and to show our support for those who have been impacted. We must strive to create a society that values diversity and inclusion, where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. This starts with each of us taking responsibility for our actions and words, and making a conscious effort to be more understanding and empathetic towards others. We must work together to build a community that is based on mutual respect and kindness, where everyone feels like they belong. So today, I pledge to do my part in creating a more inclusive and compassionate society. I will strive to be more mindful of my words and action, and to show kindness and empathy towards those around me. And to demonstrate my commitment, I invite you to turn to the person next to you and tell them, count on me. Let's make a pledge to support each other and work together towards a bright future. Now, turn to the right, and now turn to the left. And let's make this pledge together. Count on me. Thank you.
Count on me. Thank you. Count on me. Also want to acknowledge Brian Kahn, who I'm grateful that he's here with us today. He was the gentleman who spearheaded the huge event that we had last year with the Prime Minister, and to watch the sunrise and the special ceremony for the Orange Shirt Day celebration. I'm grateful that he's here, and he's been smudging. And on behalf of the city, I want to say, Brian, thank you for being here. We're grateful for your presence. Thank you. Also, I want to thank our city council members. I'm joined by Lori Lococo, by Mona Patel, and Ruth Ann Newestag. I want to say thank you to our council members. We've got representing Wayne Gates' office, we've got Shannon Mitchell, also a DSBN trustee, and of course all of our members of the DEI committee. So thank you to our staff coming in today on Saturday, and to all of you taking time out of your day to be here today means an awful lot to a lot of people. So thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome everyone in attendance, and it's important that we continue to learn together. We don't have all the answers. It's a journey. We know it's not a destination. And we'd like to acknowledge where we've come from, also where we're going. Being here today is one way that we can show that we're committed to the ongoing work. Let's now, if you would, join us, turn our attention to the flagpoles as the Every Child Matters flag will be raised and then lowered, followed by a moment of silence. Well, now I'll have a moment of silence to acknowledge those who have died or gone missing from residential schools. Thank you. Now at this time, I'd like to ask you to turn your attention to a special unveiling. So I'd like to now, if you will, invite the DEI committee to join everyone, and as they together hold the green cloth to be pulled off during this unveiling. And and at this point, once we do pull it off, we'll ask our DEI members if maybe they'd say a few words about this bench and how it came to be. So whenever you're ready, you can do your own countdown. Brian, if you want to lead us in the countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Nice.
I was asked a few years ago as an Indigenous man, what do I worry about moving forward? And my answer at the time was, I'm afraid people will forget. There's been reminder after reminder since the early 1900s about the devastation that has gone on within the Indian residential schools. And each time those reminders are made, shortly thereafter we forget. As the 215 children came forward in 2021, it awakened the world to see the true history of this land. It made it very public, and I am grateful to those children who were brave enough to make themselves known. And with that, there are people such as Phyllis Webstad. Her simple story of an orange shirt is what has transformed this nation. It has again awoken the nation to be aware of the horrific experiences of the children who were taken from their families, the First Nations, the Métis, the Inuit children who were taken from their families and sent to these Indian residential schools. There was never any attempt to educate them. The attempt was just to make them qualified for a life of servitude. So while we call them schools, I do and have been asked by survivors to use that with caution because there was very little in the way of education that occurred at that time. I am grateful to the DEI committee for all that they have done by marking the 10th anniversary of Orange Shirt Day here in Niagara Falls. I also want to thank Niagara Falls, the city members, the mayor, and other staff, Jay, who's hiding behind the camera right now, that last year when Phyllis was here, anything I asked, the city was willing to provide, and often at last minute. And so I am truly and will forever be grateful. That we are not forgetting. So with that, I'll pass it.
Thank you, Brian. Did anyone else on the committee have anything else they wanted to add? I think that's beautiful. And Brian, you're a beautiful person, and we thank you for sharing your emotions with us as well as your thoughts. Thank you very much. So, folks, this concludes this morning's gathering, and I just want to say thank you to all of you. Your most precious thing is your time, and the fact that you shared it with us here today in such a respectful way, we appreciate. And this is far from over. This is just the beginning, and it's, as I said earlier, there's no destination. It's a journey that we're all on, and we're going to learn as we go through truth and reconciliation. So on behalf of the city, I want to say thank you to all of the members for taking time out of your day to be here today. Thank you very much, Miigwech. Thank you.